growing zone 6. I'm not sure if it's 6A, 6B, but I definitely just go along with 6. Um, I've been gardening since about 2020, where I really started utilizing gardening as a way of de-stressing and getting to a place of creativity during the pandemic. So um, we moved into our home, our current home, about 5 years ago. We did a little bit of landscaping, touched up the grass, added a couple of different shrubs, nothing significant. But then once the pandemic came and the need for, and I had more of a need to be outside, even though we were not able to go to a lot of places. So I just kind of used my yard as an escape. And so since then, I've really fallen in love with gardening, falling in love with learning about new plants, learning about styles, learning what I did wrong in a lot of situations, and really, really loving ornamental gardening more than anything else, which I know that's just where I'm at right now, and who knows where my gardening story will grow to. But today I'm gonna share with you a haul, probably my biggest haul for June. I went to 3 different locations. I went to the 2 box stores, the blue store and the orange store, and then I went to a small nursery called Mahoney's in Massachusetts, which I love that nursery because I find things that I couldn't probably find at the other 2 box stores. And I'm still trying to explore nurseries, but I have to be careful because once I get to a nursery, I want to buy everything, and so I have to be really mindful about what nurseries I'm trying to visit. And I try to go to new nurseries with my husband so that I don't go crazy with my wallet. If he's not around, then there's no one really checking me about how much I'm getting. So I have a pretty large haul today. I purchased this a couple days ago. Nothing's got put in the ground yet. I wanted to share with y'all what I picked up. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm going to go through what I purchased through the shopping trip from the stores in order. So I went to the blue store first. The reason I went to the blue store was I had been watching, I think her name is Steph. I don't know what the title of her YouTube channel is, but she is also in Massachusetts, and she said that in her local blue box store, she had found this this perennial, which I'd been looking for about 2 years. So I went specifically there looking for this perennial. This is a Dark Side of the Moon Proven Winners astilbe, and it's okay for full sun. I'm just going to put the tag up front. I love the dark foliage for this one. I do really like astilbe. I have a bunch of different astilbe in shaded areas, but I wanted to see this structure in like a sun area, and because I like astilbe, I liked the opportunity to get the variety of this color, this dark foliage. I grabbed 3 of these at $15.98, and let me see, height growth is 20 to 22, spacing 20 inches, and their hardiness is zone 4 to 9, minus 30 degrees. So, well, hopefully, I got 3 of these. I'm considering putting 1 or 2 in the front garden, and then 1 in the back garden, or I'm not sure if I'll put them, together or not. So I'm still considering where these are going to be headed to. But it might be 2 in the front, 1 in the back, or vice versa, 2 in the back, 1 in the front. So that was why I went to the blue store. That was the first perennial that I went specifically looking for. And then after that, I did a little impulse shopping. Well, actually, I went to see that perennial, the still bee, and if there's any unique hostas that I don't have yet. So I was able to pick up 2 hostas. This perennial hosta is called Marmalade on Toast. I think it's a sweet name. I've been picking up hostas more recently. Right now, the perennial gardens, the 2 perennials that I really have been enjoying are hostas and heucheras. But I really like this green. It feels like a true green. I don't know if it's picking up. It feels like a very true green. You know, the veining is very subtle, and I felt like this was a soft to your eye hosta, and not a lot going on, so kind of allowing maybe the other perennials around it to pop as well. So I picked this one up. I also picked up this August Moon hosta. I saw it a few times in other shopping trips. This August Moon was $8.98, and it's mounting habit. Let me see, and it does like shade, 1 to 3 hours morning sun, cold hardiness -30 to -40, so cold hardiness zone 3. I liked the gentle lime, you know, not something like the heavy bright yellow lime, but kind of a gentle lime, so I really liked this color. I was looking for this color, but I saw this a few times in different trips, and I was not 100% on it, and then I think I saw another videographer talking about it, another gardener talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. But after seeing it a few times, it has definitely grown on me. So I think that was, I'm looking at my receipts from my shopping trip. I keep forgetting about this, but this was my this was another perennial that I picked up. It's Monrovia Electric Plum Heuchera, part sun shade perennial, $13.98, and it's saying it's going to get to 8 to 10 inches in height and 16 to 18 in width. And I just love this purple with the dark veining, with the almost black veining. I would say that that's black veining. It kind of reminds me of Prince. So I really love it, and for that reason. I wanted to get a few more, but I needed to calm down because I knew I was going to go to 2 other locations, and I told myself that I would figure a way to propagate this or split this. Not the specific one. I don't think it's large enough to be split, in my opinion. Probably can, but I just don't want to risk losing it. So I might let it grow on this season. At the end of this season, see if there's something I can pull from it to propagate it. But I do love this deep purple foliage with the black veining, and it reminds me of Purple Rain. So those were all the perennials that I picked up at Lowe's. Oh, sorry, at the Blue Store. Doesn't matter. And then I was able to get 2 annuals. I saw these. This is a Monrovia Nashville calla lily. I love calla lilies, and it comes in a yellow and a purple tip. And this year I've definitely gravitated toward yellow and purple for a color scheme for most of my annuals. So I thought that this would be a good addition, either to maybe a thriller pot or maybe a standalone. But I love calla lilies. I would love to be able to overwinter this, and I'll try again this year, but I don't have a lot of luck with maintaining calla lilies as house plants through the winter. I would love to figure that out. If anybody has tips, please let me know. But this was the Nashville calla lily, $6.98, and I picked up 2 of those. So beautiful, in my opinion. was that's what I picked up at the blue box store. That was my first trip. I even had my 4-year-old with me, and she did a great job. By the last garden center, she was just saying, "Mommy, home now, Mommy, home now." So sometimes I take her with me so I can have somebody else help me leave the garden center too. Okay, so after that, I took a trip to the orange box store, knowing that I would still go to Mahoney's, and I only wanted to pick up a couple of things from the orange box store. I wanted to check to see again if they had any unique hostas that I don't have yet, or want to add to my space, and I wanted to check to see if they had some annuals that I knew that I had picked up from a previous trip. So I picked up those two things. So I'll start with the perennials. I picked up this hosta. It's got a weed in it. I don't need weeds in my garden now. But this is a Sum and Substance hosta. It was $8.98. I've heard other videographers really talk about this and show they're really loving this one. This again has that limey tone to it, and you'll see that a lot of the hostas I picked up today have a green tone to them, or this lime tone, because my current hosta collection, a lot of them are variegated or in blue tones, which I really do like and love. Those are what I initially gravitated to, but I'm trying to add a little bit more balance to the garden space as well. This Sum and Substance, it gets somewhat large in my opinion, spacing 32 to 36 height, and then 36 to 48 wide, and hardiness to -40. And I have a beautiful shaded side garden that this might go to, or this might go to my shaded section in the yard. My front doesn't. My front does have a shaded section as well, and it might be something I would consider. So this is the first hosta, and then I picked up a second hosta at the orange store, also for $8.98. And this hosta is an Ann hosta. I thought it was very sweet. This does have some variegation to it, but I felt like it was slight variegation. The contrast wasn't so heavy. So I thought I could add this to my space with the lime and darker and more solid green in the center. This Ann hosta gets 12 to 16 in height, and then 24 to 36 in space, and it's a -50 hardiness. So I thought this was a nice smaller hosta that I could add that didn't have such contrasting variegation, but slight. So those were the two perennial hostas that I picked up at the orange store, and then I picked up two other annuals. I grabbed the Limoncello Proven Winners Supertunia, which is my favorite Supertunia. I just love limoncello. Yellow isn't my favorite color, but I love the color on this. There's a little bit of lime sometimes. It's a green that grows to yellow, and then it kind of has a lighter yellow to the top. So it's just something that has like an ombre effect that I really, really, really enjoy. So I picked up two of these. And these two are the initial annuals that I started for my container themes and container recipes this year. But usually I grab a limoncello. Usually and these are, might often find these at the orange box store pretty quickly. Oop. So those two, and then the other two I grabbed, which I'm noticing they might need to be cut back. These were the nicer ones that I saw. Some of them were molded through, just needed a little bit more care, probably in racks too long. But these are the Super Tuner Royal Velvet, also proven winners annuals. So this was the second annual that I had seen, and I paired it with the limoncello, and I liked the contrast of the two. So, and then they're quite a contrast, and I did later on find something that was able to blend the two together, and I felt like that was something beautiful in my eye. Okay. So that's what I picked up at the orange store, and I had settled down a little bit more in my shopping trip by the orange store, that I wasn't getting anything impulsive, and then I was saving myself up for the last shopping trip, which was at Mahoney's. My daughter did a great job, but she did get tired, which I appreciate. So a couple of things that I got at Mahoney's, a lot of times they have they're a little bit pricier, but I also know that they're going to have what I'm looking for, or they're going to have something that I can't find somewhere else. So I appreciate them for that. I'll start with the perennials that I picked up from them. I picked up 3 of these, I believe it's a quart container, of these Heuchera Black Olive. They're $7.99. I love the olive green color to the top, and then it has a sweet plum to the bottom. I don't have this I don't have this Heuchera in my yard at this time. I have some similar, but not. But I picked up 3 of these, and more than likely I'll probably put them in a triangle, not this close, but a triangle, and then grow from there. But I've been enjoying getting 3 plants at a time, and kind of doing the purchasing of plants on an odd scale. So odd numbers, 1, 3, or 5. But that's tricky because sometimes I don't just want 1, and then I think, oh, I can't have 2, might as well get 3, so then it gets tricky. So I have to be careful about that rule and not make it such a hard and fast rule. So that was one of the perennials I got. That was one of the perennials I got there, and I specifically look at their Heuchera section to see what they have new, what is something I haven't seen, because that's something, because they're always bringing in different inventory that does show uniqueness to the garden. Another perennial that I picked up was lamium. I do have lamium in my yard. I believe it's called the purple dragon lamium, which is, I find, more common. Like, I see that in a lot of different locations, but I really wanted a white blooming lamium, and so this is White Nancy. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm gonna try to, over time, pull out the purple blooming lamium and see if this can be the one that expands further. But the purple lamium that I have, I think the purple dragon, it's loving its life. It's probably, I'm looking at it now, it's probably 4 feet wide. So, and I started it with a container like this. So it's loving where it's at, and I don't think I'll ever completely eradicate it, and I don't think I want to, but I do want to add a little bit of white bloom to the space, because I love so much the foliage color that I'm thinking I want to, transition my garden to white or soft blooms, so that the colors in my garden come from foliage colors. But we'll see. Another hosta and perennial that I picked up, this is at Mahoney's, was Dancing Queen. This is a great, beautiful lime yellow. I really appreciated this color. I believe I've seen a couple of vloggers or videographers showing about this. This one was $16.99, zones 3 to 9, and yeah, that's what it says. Bright yellow wedge shape leaves. Ah, sorry, fly. I thought it was a bee. So this is going to give some shaded area a really great pop of color, and I love the structure of the leaves, and this is similar to a lot of the ones I got this on this trip. And then another perennial that I picked up at Mahoney's is a perennial that I have in my yard, but again, this is not the blooming color that I have. So this is a catmint fascinini, I can't say that, but alba. This one was $14.99, and so the catmint alba has a white bloom. Again, wanting to, transition some of my perennials and flowering plants to more of a lighter color. So we'll see. The other catmint or nepeta has, a soft lavender color. I still love it, so we'll see if I switch out or if I just add two to soften the space. So I think I'm interested to see how this comes along. And this is the first time I've seen a white blooming nepeta. Just want to double check to see if that's all of the perennials that I picked up. Yeah, I think that's all the perennials. And then one of the reasons I went to Mahoney specifically for this trip was for an annual that I just knew was going to be there. And I didn't call ahead, I didn't ask, but it was the Priscilla Supertunia Petunia. Yeah, is that right? Yes. Supertunia Priscilla Petunia, which has this beautiful double, I guess it's a double petunia with dark purple veining and a lavender outward. And I saw on Garden Addicts, she picked this up, and the minute I saw that she picked it up, I said, oh, I know Mahoney's has it, so I wanted to go to Mahoney's and pick it up. And of course they did. So I grabbed about 5 of these for containers, and they are quite beautiful, and hopefully I'll be able to get them again next year. But we'll see what's available. I think that's also what determines my theme, is it's what color theme I'm comfortable with and what goes along with the garden, but also what's available. I'm not in the space yet where I'm ordering annuals. Who knows who knows, maybe I'll get there. But this was an annual that I picked up there. Annual that I picked up was this. It is a Super Bells Blue Moon Punch. I did see this both at the blue store and at the orange store, but I did pick specifically these up at Mahoney's, just because I didn't want to go back, and I wanted some of these, go back to the other stops. But these have a yellow throat in the deep center, the purple, and then it veins out a little bit to a lavender. Purple is not my favorite color, but you would not know that based on this. Definitely this year purple is calling to me, which is interesting. And so I picked up about 3 of these. 3 were needed, and this is a little bit of part of my container recipe, and we'll get to that toward the end. I also picked up 2. I've been in love with coleus for the last 2 years. I love the size that they get. I love the colors they come in. I got this one last year. I found this one last year, and it's the Color Blaze Sedona Sunset. I took clippings of it and rooted them and kept it alive until I decided to put it in the sun. I didn't do any hardening off, so it perished. Hopefully this year I'll have a little bit more patience, take clippings, and do the hardening off process. But it has a beautiful sunset color, And what I noticed growing it last year is it turned more of a sunset color, I believe, in the sun, and a deeper red in the shade. And I could be confused. So, but it definitely performed differently sunshade. I'd have to look at pictures from last year. And then another coleus, which I feel like is my plant spirit, which again is another deep color, is this Color to Blaze Newly Noir. I've seen other videographers utilize this and always thought, oh, I wish I could get my hands on that. And then I saw in a different shopping trip, I saw 2 of these at the orange store, grabbed them right away, and everyone asked me, where did you find that? Where is that? And I was like, I only saw 2, I'm sorry. I would have grabbed all of them if there were more. But that was at the orange box store. So I was hoping that Mahoney's also had these, because they typically have what's harder to get. And this is like a deep, deep purple, almost black foliage, which I just love. So I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, and I do have 2 more, but I had to calm down. I should have only picked up 2, but I grabbed 4. And at this point, I was looking at my cart, and I was looking at my daughter, and everyone. She was tired, and the cart was tired, so we had to get going. I think that's most of the annuals that were picked up there. My last item for the trip was something my daughter picked out. I like having her pick out at least one flower. She has different taste. She's 4. So it's an impatient. I've never grown an impatient. This is called Salmon Shades. Emira Salmon Shades. This one was $3.99, and I'm interested to see, what does it say? Vibrant flowers illuminate the garden, hardy, vigorous, plant in sun or shade. So this might go in a container, and then we might put it on the deck